Okay, there's a lot going on right now, but I seem to have found a solution that may be rough. Um, I'm really not sure, but check this out. It's pretty cool. So now let's find this decent song. Whoa, whoa! I don't want to use that. All right, so here I've made some massive arrays to do this, but check this out. Based on the sustain level, the decay available values and the sustain release available times all change. So here I'll change to 1/8. My menu will change here. My menu changes here. Now these calculations were based off of full SNES. Full SNES has a detailed rate and step algorithms, and also adsr rates, which is specified here, all based on the 32,000 hertz frequency. So the only thing I don't know about that might cause my values to be off are the following. I don't know if there is a time delay to include in my timings from when the note is keyed on to the point where the envelope begins. So I don't know if I have to factor in something there. Next up is I was using my SDL program to kind of give myself a rough measurement of real-time milliseconds, and you can use SDL getTicks function for that. The problem is this. Mm, the call, see, I modified Blog's APU emulator, which is also a reason why these timings could be off, but more importantly, even if they were on, is that I when I change these are DSP registers. I changed them. I actually modified the Blarg API functions to modify the DSP registers, open them to the public, so that I could call them. And there is like an uneven latency that happens when the calls to those functions are made. So the best that I could do was this. After I play a note, I key it on. After I do that, let me go to the thing. I have these temporary variables that need better. So I call the function to play the pitch, and that if we look at the play pitch function, which should be down here, I pause the SBC, I write the DSP values, and then see, after I write the key on, I there could be a possible latency there too, between whatever's going on in that function, between when I turn on the timer, because this is in milliseconds, who knows, and not a big deal, right? I don't know. But then I'm also, there's the frequency of my SDL application, and in the application, I read the DSP, which we already know has a variable latency thing going on that I haven't figured out, and then I just check if the EnvX, which is the envelope value, or it's something like that. I don't even fully understand it myself, which doesn't lead to a very precise measurement here. But if we look at the thing on EnvX, this is the present gain ADSR envelope, and for some reason it's only 7 bits wide, 7 bits without a sign bit. But I think that's right now that I think about it. That's it? Yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand what value that correlates to with the actual values that I'm working with. So, beats me. Maybe that's another reason. Maybe that's another problem, huh? Because I don't know. But anyway, I check it, and then I start it when it turns on, and then when it turns off, if I already started, then I'll put out the difference in milliseconds. So we can see how there's all these like possibilities for problems when I'm actually doing a real-time check. Plus I'm on an emulator. It's not cycle accurate. But I'm going to summarize here. So I talk about two things that factor in towards a possible imprecision. One being that, I mean, this is 32,000 hertz. My program is based off of full SNES. If full SNES is accurate, then my thing should be accurate with the absence of the fact of, I don't know if there's some sort of latency consideration for when the key on note is made. And I don't factor any of that in. Even without factoring that, my timings that are read from this, who knows how imprecise real-time millisecond measurement with the APU emulator gives me usually shorter timings than what my values came from doing the actual real test with full SNES's values. And when I say real test, I mean I go at 32,000 hertz and I do the proper delays and I calculate how many frequencies of 32,000 hertz we've gone through, and I have the translations from that into the seconds or the time domain, and then we get a value. Anyways, I mean, irregardless, it's a ballpark, and we're musicians, and we don't need to know things that are down to the very like accurate, precise time scale. I mean, for instance, if you want to sustain for like 16 seconds, this thing might have sustained for 16.3 instead of 16.4. But I mean, it's only up to a second's imprecision, and this is potentially it could be actually accurate. Or precise. I mean, I actually don't know. I have no conscious way of proving this at the moment, but that's only for these really, really high values. The imprecision seems to travel with that, or this perceived imprecision. But with the low values, when you're dealing with milliseconds, we're talking like, according to my real-time checks, we're talking like tens of milliseconds. I don't think anyone's going to notice, man. But yeah, but if you're really trying to delay something for exactly 16.5, well, in 16.4, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? It's just like I can't give an F about that much hardcore. So I mean, you can figure out a way around that. I got a ballpark for you. You should be happy I even got this. I don't think anybody has what I have right now. Because I'll tell you this, man. This thing would have told you. This manual would have told you, oh yeah, that is 38 seconds. When when I have a 1/8 sustain level, no, that's 16. So you want to know something? At least I got you 16 seconds closer, or something crazy like that. I mean, I got you like 20 something seconds more precise measurement than what those guys are kicking off to you. So, all right. That's all I got on that. But yeah, I mean, this is great. This is way more precise. Very detailed. Let's do an example, huh? So the attack's a 0. The attack doesn't affect any of this crap that I've been working with this night. But let's do like a 1 second sustain release with the sustain level at nothing. And notice how when I change the sustain level, this actually changes. This controls. The sustain level will control the decay and the sustain release. So you always want to set this first, because this will change everything else if you change it. So yeah, let's do it no decay, and let's do a 1.1 second. And let's just see, I have this sort of like real-time thing going on. So watch this. You'll see it come out on the screen right there. So you see that? According to this measurement of EnvX, considers that a 1.06 seconds, which is really close to 1.1. So that's actually not too bad. See what I'm saying? So it's really, really close. And like I said, I don't even know how precise that is. But since I can't really find the precision, I'm just going to be happy with this. It was a lot of work. You should see the freaking arrays that I pre-built for this. I mean, check these arrays out. Look at these. Alright, cool. Not as bad as I thought. Alright, let's do something a little more cool. Let's see, like, let's sustain it at half. And we will do another 1 second, and we will decay. Yeah, let's just do that. Now this thing tallies up at 1379, so that's roughly 1.4 seconds. And if you look at this, this is 1.1 plus 3 is 1.423. So it's you know, like 100 milliseconds difference, and like I said, there's a latency, and it's bad sometimes between querying the DSP externally. So just can't find that precision in my context. But yeah, you can really have fun messing around with this, and these are pretty good guidelines actually. So for instance, you go, all right, I'm going to sustain 1/8 max envelope, and hopefully I want to start getting a graph that visually show this stuff. And I go, oh, I want to decay like really, I don't know, take a second, almost a second to decay down there. So it's going to go up, down. Actually, it's going to start immediately at the up, so it's just going to kind of go down. It's going to take a second to go down, and then it's going to chill for 1.5 seconds, really low. And now I almost heard a fluctuation, and we can do this calculation again. 22317, we got 1.5. Add 8, that's 2.3. So there you go. Of course, there's another almost 100 millisecond difference there, but whatever. Now, I almost feel like I hear a fluctuation and almost increase in the volume when I do this. Do you hear that? I mean, I'm wearing headphones. It's like I can hear that sustain kick in, but I feel like I hear an increase. Sounds like an increase in volume. That's so strange. God, I'll never understand this thing. Sounds like an increase. I don't get it. Maybe I'm just crazy. That was much smoother. So basically, I'm going to keep explaining this. Like, I'm going to beat this into my brain and yours too. So we hit the key on. We immediately start at the highest volume because we had a 0 ms attack. And then for roughly half a second, we're going to fall down in volume to 2/8 of the volume. And then we're going to go for 2.3 seconds and go from 2/8 and take 2.3 seconds to get all the way to 0. For as long as I hold this note on. If I go off, the note off envelope begins, and that's like a really rapid decline to 0. So here we go again. Now if I turn this down all the way to 0, well, I can't, but really close to it, it means we're going to go take roughly half a second to get to 2/8 and then just bam to 0. That's pretty much that. So yeah, you can mess around with this thing, and you can change the attack. This is cool too, So that's ADSR envelopes for you, and I can't talk about this anymore. See you later, guys. I love you.